Okay, I'm going to make a point to you here. I think the national perspective on the Eagles is this. A lot of question marks. Is the quarterback the guy? Is the coach the guy? Is Jonathan Gannon a good D coordinator? How are they going to use Jordan Davis? Is the Kobe Dean what some people in the draft world thought was a reach, and that's why he fell down to the third round? Okay? Is Devontae Smith going to be the star that everyone's hoping for? Is that O-line going to stay intact to be the best O-line in pro? All these questions. Baby, are you ready to rock and roll with Big Sills? I just love that comment there. I'm going to leave that between me and Xander. Please hit the like button. You know we're packed today. We will be packed for the entire week. Today we have Hollis Thomas, hour number 2 at 4:30. Eagle legend. Tomorrow, Ice Cube. Thursday, Chris Sims. Friday, a special guest. I'm going to leave that there for us, and I'm going to hang that out there for us a little bit there. So on Friday, a special guest, and we welcome you aboard here. You know, I tell you guys this all the time. I'm a massive fan of lists. I'm also a massive fan of people who throw predictions out and who will throw like their thoughts on how a team, how an athlete, how somebody is going to perform before obviously that respected season starts. And we all do this. This is kind of what sports talk is, right? But I got a guy who does these lists that I kind of like. He and I hate each other too. But you want to know something here about Big Sills? I may not like you, but respect your work. I do not like Pete Prisco. He and I have gone back and forth forever. I was on his station once, and he had a cow with me being on his station. And he called his program director, and the program director told him to shut up because at the time the company wanted my show aired in Tampa, Orlando, Miami, and Jacksonville. And he had a cow with it. And I went on the air and someone goes, hey, did you hear Prisco's talking shit on you on his afternoon show in Jacksonville? He does an afternoon radio show, by the way, besides working for CBSSports.com. And he's done this show forever. And he goes, did you hear Prisco was talking shit on you? And so you know what Big Sills does. Who's Pete Prisco? And people were like, holy cow. This guy's one of the big voices in the NFL. Oh, how come I've never heard of him? And what really sucks is he's a paisan. So I'm assuming he's a Northern Italian because, Northern Italians are more like French folks. They're not really Italians. They like white sauce. You know what I mean? I mean, Big Sills is a red sauce guy. And if you're more towards the boot, you're more red sauce. How you doing, right? So I'm a red sauce guy. He's a white sauce guy, and it's all right. We're practically paisans. It's okay. I mean, you can like white sauce and be, I guess, an Italian too. But like I said, you're closer to France than you are really to Italy. So hey, I'm not an Alfredo white sauce guy, and I don't like fettuccine. I like angel hair pasta, and I like red sauce. Red sauce. I don't like Manhattan clam chowder. I mean, I like Manhattan clam chowder. I don't like the other clam chowder. How you doing? Okay? I'm a red sauce guy. But I do respect his work. Yes, sauce discrimination. Yes, sorry, I discriminate when it comes to white sauce and red sauce. Yes, I do. If you're going to call Sileo a racist on one thing, it's red sauce and white sauce. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, I admit it. Maybe the first time, and I don't like Chardonnay either. I'm a Merlot guy. I don't know why. Everything's got to be red wine and red sauce. Sorry about that. Okay, right? New England clam chowder. Holy cow, the white sauce? Oh, Maran, you're not working for me. Anyway, So Pete Prisco, I'm sure many of you know the name. He came out with his top 100 players. I got the list here, but I want to throw this out at you, and I'm going to make an Eagle topic out of it. What do you think the national perception is this year of this group of Philadelphia Eagles as we're just about a month out from training camp? What do you think is the perception about this team? You're not sure? Unknowns, quarterback, coach. How's AJ? And hey, by the way, you and I can talk about all the optimism, and we have been. But I think here's the national perspective, because I'm going to make a point to you here. Okay, I'm going to make a point to you here. I think the national perspective on the Eagles is this. A lot of question marks. Is the quarterback the guy? Is the coach the guy? Is Jonathan Gannon a good D coordinator? How are they going to use Jordan Davis? Is the Kobe Dean what some people in the draft world thought was a reach, and that's why he fell down to the third round? Okay? Is Devontae Smith going to be the star that everyone's hoping for? Is that O-line going to stay intact to be the best O-line in pro? All these questions. 6th or 7th in the playoffs? Playoff contender? That's a good question. Do you think the national perspective is that the Eagles are a playoff contender? I do. Ryan says divisional round playoff team. That's pretty big. Okay? Daz says this is what makes our fans so much better than Cowboy fans. We are always cautious. Meanwhile, if this roster was in Dallas, they would be screaming Super Bowl. Dead on. Dead on, Daz. But I'm going to make a point to you right here. I'm not going to read the top 100 players here. But what I am going to do is I'm going to tell you what Prisco says, where your Eagle guys are in his eyes on the top 100 players in the NFL. This is on CBSSports.com. His top 10 players, he and I were right. I think Aaron Donald's the best player in football. He's got Rodgers number 2, Mahomes number 3, Josh Allen 4, Cooper Kupp 5, Tom Brady 6, TJ Watt of the Steelers 7, Trent Williams 49ers 8. He is. Eventually, possibly Jordan Mailata could take his seat as the best tackle in the game. He's not. Trent Williams is by far. It's a pretty big gap. The best tackle in the game. Myles Garrett 9 and Jalen Ramsey number 10. So the Rams have the number 1 and number 10 best players in the NFL according to Pete Prisco. Where do you think the Eagle guys are? This is Prisco is pretty respected. If I'm reading it, I respect his work. I just don't like the guy. I think the guy's a douche. But I actually like his work. Okay? Here's where Pete Prisco has the Eagle guys ranked. Jordan Mailata, number 75. Darius Slay, number 85. Top 100 players, according to Pete Prisco and CBSSports.com. Lane Johnson, number 90. And A.J. Brown, number 94. So Pete Prisco doesn't have an Eagle in the top 50 players in the NFL. And by the way, I looked around. I think a lot of people have that same notion. So you don't really have a lot of respect nationally on how people are looking at your roster when it comes to talent. There's a guy that does this for a living. He actually goes on the CBS show for the NFL on Sunday. And that's not a lot of respect. 75, 85, 90, 94. You're in the bottom third with 4 players on your roster, and he only named 4 of them. What kind of team goes on and wins a divisional crown and then goes on and plays in the divisional rounds, wins a playoff game? not somebody with 4 players in the top 100. I don't think this is a lot of respect. Jordan Mailata, 75. Boy, that's pretty low. Darius Slay, who made the Pro Bowl, 85. Lane Johnson, 90. The 90th best player. And you're talking about a guy who's a perennial Pro Bowler, an all-pro player. 90. You don't have, get this, you have one player in the top 75, according to Pete Prisco and CBSSports.com. Philly says it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't it? Well, here, let's throw this at you here. Are we overrating the talent on the team? Are we overrating it? Jalen Hurts is nowhere to be seen on that list. He's not even in the honorable mention stuff. Okay? He's not. Devontae Smith is not even mentioned. Not one guy on the defensive front seven is mentioned in the top 100 names. No, you think that's nothing. Sills, why are you tired of Curry? I'll get to Curry here. I'll get to Steph Curry. They got a 3-2 lead last night. I watched it. Okay? I watched it. I think the kid Wiggins actually may take the finals MVP, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Those lists don't make no difference. What matters is what you do once you get on the field. Of course, Davey. I'm talking about the perception of how people see the Eagles nationally versus how we're seeing it. We're thinking that this Eagle team's going to win. A team that has the potential to win 13 games doesn't have 4 players that people perceive as really great players. There's a boatload more. Come on, Dan. AJ not being top 50 is a joke. This ain't me. This ain't me, and this is why the question I'm asking you. Do I think that AJ – hey, do I think Jordan Mailata is a top 50 player in the NFL? All the great players, top 50, he's around there. Darius Slay, do I think he's a top 50? No, probably top 60 players. Lane Johnson, I think Lane's around 50. Not 90. A.J. Brown, is he a top 50 player? Yeah. 94? You're 6 spots from the bottom. Again, I'm not talking about true talent here. I'm talking how people see the Eagles. People think that you guys are good, not great. And you know why? Because the quarterback's not great. This comes down to how people see the Eagles through the prism of Jalen Hurts with a lot of question marks. You can have all the talent on the planet, but you're only going to be perceived by how people look at your quarterback on your team. Is it right? No. But there's no other excuse for this. I saw 4 Eagle guys in the top 100 players. I'm like, holy shit, wait a minute here. I'm saying they're going to win 13 games? Look, I know people's perspectives are different than others. I'm not going down there. My list would be completely different than his, I think at least from 30 down. But he's not alone in how they see the Eagles. They see it through Jalen Hurts' abilities. Okay? Like when you look at the Packers, even though they lost Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers is there. Tom Brady. Buccaneers. When you think of the Philadelphia Eagles, what do you think of? A questionable quarterback. That's what Pete is doing here, in my opinion. Kenneth goes, what about Kelsey? Not even mentioned. Master says, we may not have a top 100, but we have a load of top 200 players. 200 players? So you don't have any. The Rams have 2 in the top 10. That's why they're Super Bowl champs. We don't have anybody in the top 20. So you're saying to me this, that every position on the Philadelphia Eagles, there's not a top 10 guy. That's what they're saying here. That Mulata's not a top 10 tackle. That Slay's not a top 10 corner. That Lane's not a top 10 tackle. That AJ is not a top 10 wideout. That's what that is. I looked at the list. They got other people ranked ahead of him and multiple guys at the positions that they play. You don't have a top 10 guy at any position on your team, and we're going to win 13 games. Interesting. It always gets brought back to Hurts. Eddie, I'm not doing this. You tell me, okay then, Eddie, you tell me then, you think 4 players being mentioned in a guy's top 100 who's considered to be one of their main analysts, CBS, is saying that you only have 4 players in the top 100. That's not a ringing endorsement to the upcoming season that they think the Eagles are going to have a great year. They still think Dallas is the team to beat in the NFC East. That's fine. I'm talking about how other people, are we overvaluing our guys? You know, we've been drinking the Howie Roseman juice now for about 2 months since the draft. Are we drunk with it? I agree with you, Philly. I think Lane Johnson gets no respect. He has been a fine ball player. He has been an absolute fine ball player. Big Sil's drunken Howie. Nothing like a good glass of warm Howie Roseman amongst friends. Cheers. Oh, yeah. Serving it warm, baby. Pete Prisco had Kenny Pickett in his top 10 for the draft. Smile. I'm making a point here using a national analyst. Just show and prove it on the field. Shut them all up. Absolutely. I don't think we're overvaluing our guys at all, says Eddie. Larry says, personally, I'd rather be slept on and prove it. Yeah. Under promise, over deliver. I'm a huge fan of that. That's it right there, Kevin. That's where I'm going, Kevin. Let me tell you something, folks. If I were this Philadelphia Eagle team, I would be wearing the banner of underdogs. You think my quarterback sucks? You don't think we have a lot of stars on our team? We're just a meat and potatoes team. We're a lunch pail team. You know, we got the miners caps on. We don't have the slick suits like they do in Dallas. And we're just going to go out there and we're going to go into the mine and we're going to dig for our gold. The rest of you people are hoping that it falls out of someone's pocket or that you find it on the ground. It's like people that play the lottery, okay? You're hoping to somehow become a millionaire instantly when you know in your heart you got to dig for it anyway. That Eagle team should take that identity on. I don't want to hear about planting seeds and shit. I want to hear this. Hey, great, you don't think we're good? Fine. Then you go out there and beat the shit out of them. Then you go out there and run them over. Then you go out there and you inflict your will on people. Then they leave that game going, hey, man, I don't know what they thought of that Eagle team, but I'll tell you something, man. They only have 4 guys in the top 100. That's not the way I looked at it. It looked like they came at us in waves. That's the kind of football team I like. Xander goes, I'm done being the underdog. I'm done being the underdog to go in there like champions. I hate to inform Xander this, but the Philadelphia city alone is underdog. And it always has been. It always has been. You know why? They cover New York. They cover Dallas. They cover Chicago. They cover Los Angeles. Bro, why run from how people look at you? Philadelphia is a tough city. Kobe played like an underdog. Kobe played like he had shit to prove every day. He is the prime example of your city. Kobe Bryant played like he had everything on the line and everything to prove every time he took to court. Where do you think he got that from? He got that because he was raised like that. When you're raised like that, you got a chip on your shoulder. I heard the guys on Sports Take talking about chips on their shoulder. Here's the ultimate. There's the ultimate. Yes, hey, Manchester, city of brotherly love. You know why? You guys are loyal to the soil. You don't appreciate people talking shit on you, do you? But you guys can talk shit on each other, correct? That's how I'm learning. Loyal to the soil. Hey, man, I'll tell you what, that guy, man, Roseman, but then you hear some dude in Chicago talking about it. You're like, I'll tell you what, easy guy, did win a Super Bowl in 17. And before you find yourself, you're defending Howie Roseman, right? When somebody from the outside comes into your world and starts taking a piss on it. I like it. Who says you're not walking in like a champion, knowing in your heart, hey, dude, I played like that at the University of Miami. We all did. Jerome Brown included. That, get this, they never thought much of us. Some private small school, bunch of black kids and kids that had issues and problems, poor kids. And every time we walked into places, we didn't have the fancy facilities. We felt like underdogs and we killed you. That was Jimmy Johnson's mentality. Really? Don't schedule us. You know what the big joke used to be about UM? Don't schedule us for homecomings or stadium openings because we'll wreck your night. Hey, I can't tell you how many homecomings and opening of stadiums that we destroyed. We go into South Carolina one year. They opened up that Bryce Stadium where the Gamecocks played. We beat them 38-10. And they were like, oh, this is – I think Sterling Sharp was on that team too. They opened the stadium. Jerome looks over at me and goes, man, it's going to be a bad night for these folks. Place was packed, 80,000 people. We're sitting there going, we get out there, we kill that team. And we're walking off. And Jerome's telling everybody, man, hey, don't ever schedule UM for homecoming or for stadium openings or for alumni night. You'll have a tough one. I love that, man. I love that. Ronald, when we rock together and tell the league we don't give a shit about top 10 players, we care about only being number one. That's the attitude, Ronald. That is exactly the attitude. I saw this list and I was like, I can't wait because, look, payday's around the corner here. September's coming. September's coming. And you're going to get out against the Lions. Now, look, I've been critical of how they're practicing. You guys all know that. But, boy, if I was one of these players, man, and I start picking up, Jordan says it all the time. Go and watch his Hall of Fame induction speech. Okay? Go and watch his Hall of Fame speech. Adding a log to the fire. To me, this is a log to the fire. I'd be like this. Okay. So you don't think much of us? I got you. A.J. Brown, the 94th ranked player in the league. Philly loves and understands an underdog. That's why in 17 was so special. That's why we're loyal to Hurts. There it is, Nathan. There it is. You're right. You guys love Hurts because he's a guy who personifies Philly, the underdog. Dead on. Dead on. That may be the take of the last 2 months. You're rooting for him because he personifies how the outside world sees Philadelphia as underdogs. He's totally, of all the quarterbacks, Tua's not an underdog. Why? He was drafted like 5th overall. That's not an underdog. Okay? That's not. There's a massive difference between Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa took his job and was drafted 5th. That's not an underdog. That's the guy that's got to live up to the expectations. This guy took Hurts' job from him. Hurts had to leave, go somewhere else, prove himself. Joe Burrow plays like that. Tom Brady plays like an underdog. You think Brady, the way he posts those combine pictures and reminds people he was the 199th player taken, is by accident? Brady's got an underdog mentality. Chip on your shoulder. Brady plays with a lumberyard on his shoulder. This guy's got 7 Super Bowl titles, and he plays like it. I think that's the identity of the team. Get your lunch pail. Let's go to work. I would bake shirts of that up. Get your lunch pail. Let's go to work. This football team has a great chance to go out and do some spectacular things this year. Shut people up. Look at Jordan Mailata, too. You know what he's fighting for? He's fighting for his place in the league. The 75th rated player in the league. Personally, I think Jordan Mailata is a top 10 offensive tackle in the league. I think Lane Johnson is, too. Lane has never gotten the respect. It's true. And I'll tell you something else that goes along with this conversation we're having here. Okay? Okay? Jason Kelce. It's funny, when I first came on and started doing this show, Sills, you think Jason Kelce's a Hall of Famer? No. Then after you watch him, and you watch him get up to second levels, and you watch the way he plays, you would say this: well, if Kevin Mawai is an all-time great center, Kelce's better. Kelce's better than Kevin Mawai. Okay, he's better. And I would say significantly better. For an undersized guy, and for the amount of time he's put in, and how he plays that position and keeps that entire unit intact like that, one of the best centers I've seen. I'll tell you, the best centers I've seen in my time and played against, Ray Donaldson, Don Mosbar, Kelce I watched. I did play against Bruce Matthews when Bruce had to move over from guard to center. Stepnoski wasn't yet ready to be a great, but he was good. But Ray Donaldson, probably the best I played against. And Kelce's better than them all. Don Mosbar was a great. Kelce's better than Saturday. Saturday's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. Kelce is a Hall of Famer. Pouncey's a good player. Kelce's better than them all. Kelce's another player that sits on the Mount Rushmore of what represents your city and the identity that you guys have. And you know, I get kind of Xander's point too. Shit, man, I want to be anybody's underdog. When you walk into a room, you look at that team and go like this: damn, here they are. And after a while, you get that tag. When we started walking into buildings, they feared us. Holy shit, it's that Miami team. These guys talk shit, and you know what? These guys, sometimes we throw our helmet in there and we'd kill that team. He goes, I get that from Bama. Yeah, well, get this. We were first. Every place we walked into, here they are. There's a reason they make movies about the UM teams and have statues and books about us. There's a reason that there's a ton of 30 for 30s about us. The U is because of how we changed college football. I don't see no 30 for 30s on Alabama yet. Okay, they're all about Big Sills' teams. You just said that you're underdogs for like 16 minutes. Yeah, we were. But then we won it over. And then people started looking at us going, holy shit. I'll tell you something. And Xander's right. That was our mentality. We never lost that mentality. But we knew in the back of our minds when we walked in, these teams feared us. But we had a ton of shit to prove. Dude, you know when you walk into a place like Gator Field and you walk into Ben Hill Griffith Stadium and you see all those great facilities that they have and you see all those fans and you're like this. Some people walk in and go, wow, man, this is a great environment. We walk in going like this. I'm going to beat the living shit out of these fans' team. Then I'm going to wreak so much havoc on you, you're not going to believe it because you don't respect us. Raiders had it. The Raiders had that mystique. You know why? Because they were always shit on by the league. Always. But they had that mystique. Here come the Raiders. Holy cow. Hey, and get this. You know who the modern day Raiders were? Brady's Patriots. The cheating scandal with the Spygate, Deflategate, Bullshitgate, whatever. Just like when Al used to turn sprinklers on for fast teams or have the headset. You know why that rule is in place, the headset rule? Because Al would have the other team's headsets not on in his at the Coliseum. That's why that rule's intact, because Al used to have two bars of soap in the showers. It was crazy. I told you the story when we went into Ohio State. I couldn't believe what the locker room looked like in Ohio State. It was pink, 4 showers and 2 bars of soap, and there was so much starch on the towels. We couldn't believe it. And it was freezing. I was like, this is home field advantage. Okay? That's home field advantage. I love that shit, man. I love the mystique. The UN players never forgot how people saw them. That's right, Ronald. They saw many of us as gangsters, and they saw many of the black players as kids who shouldn't be in college, kids who should not be in school. See, here, you know why Alabama's got an 80% admittance rate? Why do you think that is? Alabama's a fine institution, too. Why do you think that is? Because they work with their sports department and they create dreams. They help fulfill dreams. That's why Notre Dame doesn't fulfill dreams. You could play at Notre Dame. You ain't winning shit at Notre Dame. 17% acceptance rate. Who do you think you're beating? Why do you think Brian Kelly left? All about identity. All about having that identity. Look, you do develop that aura about yourself. I'll tell you this, that 17 Eagles team, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said after you guys beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I swear to you, almost verbatim, I cannot believe that the New England Patriots got destroyed like that. Of all, there was only one other game, I think, that I saw New England destroyed. You remember a couple of years back when Kansas City crushed them in KC, famous line, Ron to Cincinnati, it was next week, and they got destroyed by Andy Reid's Chiefs. When you guys beat that Patriot team, it wasn't so much that you beat them on the scoreboard. I went away like this. That's got to be one of the biggest ass whippings I've ever seen by a football team put on a dynasty team that was still in the dynasty run. They won a Super Bowl the next year. You hammered that team. It was relentless. 60 minutes of ass kicking. The respect that the players got on that 2017 Eagle team from the league, dude, I was talking about it on the air the next day going, okay, you want to know what an ass beating is? That is it right there. That's why today I continue to tell you guys, best combination of defensive line and offensive line I have seen since the Steelers. Complete and thorough domination on the scoreboard and in your hearts and soul. Okay? Unbelievable. Now, you tell me if that team had that underdog mentality, but yet inflicted their will. That's an aura. There will always be an aura about that 17 team, won't there be? The parade proves it a little bit. There's an aura about that Gang Green team. There's an aura about those guys. Holy shit, it's a body bag game. Holy shit, it's a bounty game. They were so arrogant, they named their games Body Bag Game. They had names for their games. So freaking awesome. Hey, they had themes for the games that they were playing, and they were public with it. It's the bounty game. What? Dude. That fires me up, man. That fires me up. And if I was this group, I'd start to put a little of that in my gas can, and I'd start saying a little bit of this. Let's all put a little bit of that ass kicking into the STP bottle, put it in our gas tanks, and let's go do this. I can't wait for September. These guys have so much to prove. 60 minutes of football every single day. This is not going to be a football team that's going to go out and beat teams by 25 points. This is going to be a football team that goes out and has to play 60 minutes of ball. And get this, could get beat. Okay, could get beat in the final minute. You got to play 60. This is not a team like, say, the Rams who can get up on you 35 points, or the Chiefs. House of Pain game. Look at you guys. Look at how you guys are. Dude, you guys had names for games. That is so great. Hey, that is so great. So great. 4 guys, Pete Prisco from CBS, Sports.com, has from the Eagles. 4 dudes. I would be like, oh, man, I can't wait to go play against the Lions and the Vikings and the Commanders and the Cowboys. I can't wait, the Jags. I can't wait for any of this, man. Man, my first 5 games getting ready to roll into that bye. They got the Cardinals there, too. I think it's the Cardinals. It's Cowboys. That's right. It's Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars. I believe that's Cards. Yeah, Cards and Cowboys. Dude, so good. Oh, man, so good. All right. I want to do this too. We're going to have some, I'm going to throw a topic at you. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. Okay? I don't want you to go crazy on it. I'm just throwing a topic out. Hey, it's your boy Big Sills, Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Meaning this, if you get hurt or injured on the job, choosing an attorney could be one of the most important things that you could do for your family. Getting the fair compensation that it so rightly deserves. And at Morgan & Morgan, this is what they do for the last 30 years, collecting over $13.5 billion worth of compensation for their clients. 800 attorneys strong in offices in Philly, New York, Florida, across the country are ready to do battle for you. Listen, there is no bigger law firm in the country when it comes to getting your true compensation than Morgan & Morgan. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. Look, the call is free. The consultation is free. 800-512-1600. Hey, open 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you call them, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sills sent you.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you're hit from behind in a car crash, the insurance company may try to say, you can't possibly be hurt. It was only a few miles an hour. It's simply not true. You see, here's the thing. Getting hit at 10 miles per hour is like falling off of this. 15 miles per hour, like this. And only 25 miles per hour, this. Injured, dial pound law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.